Welcome to the Real Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce. I'm here with my man, E, man. What's going on, man?
My brother. Another day above ground, my brother.
That's it, man. Another week, man. I'm glad to be here with you, bro.
Yeah, most definitely, bro.
We're going to hop right into it, man. So this week, I wanted to talk to you about excuses, man. I think that we lean on excuses a little too much. And there are multiple people I can name, like Oprah. It's this guy at my work, the chaplain of where I work at, and he got a major disability, a walking disability, and it affects the way he walks. But neither one of those people let their situation dictate their output, and they chose to push past those excuses. The question I have for you, though, is do you find yourself leaning on the excuses? And if so, how do you pull yourself back into the mindset of what can I do now, today?
That's a good question. Me personally, man, I just think what we have to do a better job of is, and it is often hard because a lot of times we are afraid of the consequence.
That's it.
It's the consequence that, that frightens a lot of us. Whether that be, boy, mama insurance about to shoot up, or whether that be, oh my God, they gonna take the keys from me for life, whatever, whatever it may be. It's just, we as people too, we have to do a better job of trying to understand. Like when you get a young person and they've done wrong, but they coming to you, letting you know that they did do wrong. It's like, yeah, although you heated and you angry about whatever may have happened, we got to respect the fact, and we gotta acknowledge the fact that they didn't have to tell me this.
Right.
At least they told me the truth.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, now I can't tell anybody out there how to take and chastise their child or whatever. But again, that should count for something,
100% true. I think it does soften the blow when you're able to come to somebody in the present moment of what had happened, and you're able to admit it or accept what has happened, and came to you like a man, came to you like a woman, or whatever the case may be. And I think, like, for the argument of, I heard the argument that the world has become too convenient, but I want to ask the question of, do you think we've become too dependent? You know what I mean? And
the world has become too convenient.
Yeah, I heard that argument that the world is becoming too convenient, man. But I challenge that and say, are we becoming too dependent? Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, to me, both are one and the same. The convenience, if you think about it, the world is gonna simply become more and more convenient appearing.
Right.
Why? Because you got to think about it. Anything anything that holds the appearance of temptation, it's going to be convenient. It's going to be easy to get, and it's like,
within arm's reach.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, right there.
And then it's like, it's just like, and then on top of that, we'll find ourselves looking at that thing as a challenge, even if it does appear far away. Convenience, and then becoming dependent.
Right.
You become dependent on something when you've scratched that initial itch. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden you're like, it feels good. It tastes good.
That instant pleasure.
Instant
right.
gratification. Oh, I know what that's going to do for me. I need some more of that.
100%, man. I think, and the reason I asked you that, man, it's funny because I think with each era throughout history, it comes with its own set of technology. Some use it for benefit, some use it for the detriment. But I think it's up to the user to determine how they use it. It's their choice. And then you also periodically got to ask the question, is it assisting me in life, or has I become dependent on this thing, right? And I know for myself, I become at times dependent on excuses because I firmly believe that we initially want to default, like you said, to instant gratification or instant pleasure. Because we want it immediately. You know what I'm saying? We want to feel better, and that excuse gives us that. It gives us that cop-out sometimes. I experienced this with blurting out excuses like, I'm tired. I don't have time. I don't know how to do this. Even with the podcast, like my inconsistency sometimes in posting or getting to like certain things or posting clips and stuff like that, updating certain things. But you could always find an hour a day or 30 minutes even to do something, 10 minutes a day to read or whatever the case may be to broaden your perspective on whatever you want to learn about. But with just depending on excuses, whether they're valid or not, we don't take the time to dive into solutions. You mentioned that, like we never take the time to dive into solutions. Our first instinct is an excuse.
Time out.
Yeah.
Time out. I don't mean to stop you. Your first thought, your line of defense becomes fight or flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So within a situation such as what we were talking about, what are you fighting?
Consequence.
Exactly. So if you fighting that, and immediately the first thing that registers is nothing good is coming from this, then what you gonna do? You're gonna flee.
That's it.
You're gonna flee.
Yep.
So in a sense, what if the initial thought is, I'm gonna fight the thought of fleeing, and I'm gonna just go ahead and no matter what, so what? I'm gonna just tell them.
Right.
It's like going back to the being dependent on something. You talked about like it's dependent on the user.
Yeah. It's always a choice.
But check this out. What if you don't even know who the user is? What if it's you that's being used? But you thinking that you control.
Right.
You control the whatever it is that's influencing this let's just call it, man, this imaginary sense of pleasure, or this false pleasure, or this momentary pleasure. We think we are the ones in control of it. But what if it's controlling us the whole time?
That's super true. That's a very good point, man.
It's a hallucinogen.
Right. We get caught up in it, man. And then I think it comes with certain things to where you have those little check marks that come up in the mind. It's like you said before, like you always had that thought in your head, like, man, this is something unusual I don't normally do. You know what I'm saying? Or this is something I usually, I push away on, but I'm gravitating towards it. Man, you know what I'm saying? For me, sleep, for instance, like sleep, right?
Man, don't even talk about that right now.
You feel me, right?
Ain't been catching a lot
those
of that.
like sleep is one of those things to where it's a thin line to where you could get too much. Sometimes you could get too little. But it's like for me, like I said with the podcast, like I could have an hour in the morning before I go to work on it, do some little edits, sometimes get a workout in. But sleep is, I use it. It's like, man, I'm tired, or I worked a long week. Like I give myself that excuse, that cop out, and I don't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? But in reality, it's like if I take that little extra hour, you know what I mean, go in and do that. It ain't gotta be every day. It could be 3 times a week. How much better would that gradual compound be versus me having giving myself that little cop out, but then get mad at myself later for the consequences of not posting, or the consequences of not. Does that make sense? And it could be anything for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Meal prepping. It could be, waking up to get the kids ready a little bit earlier, so I ain't rushing.
So I guess the question becomes the true question. It is, what are you building? What are you building toward?
I like that.
Right? Because it's like every day is different than the one before. However, certain things do stay the same. The numbers on the clock gonna stay the same.
Right.
What we do in between these numbers,
1,000%.
that could change. Or it could stay the same. But the thing about it is, like, what are we building toward?
That's so crazy that you say that, man. Can I say that? Like, it's crazy that you said that, because I got written down. What'd you just say?
What are we building towards?
What are we building towards? I got down, part of the purpose of getting what you want is what you become in the process of getting it. You know what I mean? Because it's so true, man. It's so true, dude. What are we building towards, right? Because in that process of that thing we're looking at, who are we becoming as we become closer to it? You feel me?
What are we willing to do to get to it?
Right, bro.
Because that's when you start to really, you can unravel, or
that's why I'm talking about the excuses. It could be gradual. It ain't got to be to the extreme, drugs, whatever the case may be. It could be little small daily activities.
You're right, because too, what had happened after you've learned to use excuses or manipulate the excuse, then we come back and we take and excuse the excuse by saying, "Hey, what? I ain't doing drugs though."
You feel me, bro?
Yeah.
You feel me? It's just a little sleep. I needed it.
I mean, look,
bro.
it's just, It's just 75 cents.
You feel me?
But that's 75 cents. Then all of a sudden, one day somebody turn their head and you need $75.
Now we tracking, bro. We on the same page.
What? It's just 75 though. I didn't take 100.
Bruh, I'm talking about, man, and dude, that's what I'm saying, man. It's wild because that's why I was thinking about it this week. I'm like, wow, man, like you spoke to me about the writing. I don't know if you want me to bring it up, but even the little small little incidents like that, because it's like it hits you all in the moment. Like, man, it's been 2 weeks since I last worked out. Man, it's been a year since I last wrote. You know what I mean? And it's like, how did I get here? Because of those small daily excuses that you make, those small weekly excuses that you make. And it could be valid. Like I said, excuses can sometimes be valid, man. But you also get in the habit of giving them so much, sometimes you don't realize that I can give a little extra time. I can put a little extra effort towards that. You know what I'm saying?
It's what you're willing to allow. If you allow yourself to slip into a dark, if you allow yourself to just, like go down the dark path and you say, you know what? Every time I travel with, I travel down the road that's filled with the light. For a chance, for a change, I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a good state. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to be seen, really. I'm going to take the dark road. Mm-hmm. And then what you do on the dark road is different than going down the path in which you know it's lighted. Because now, in your mind, you can get away with a little more down the dark path. Right. You know what I'm saying? You like, hey, what? They don't see me anyway.
They ain't going to see it. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you did just say it's just us two, right?
You feel me, man?
Hey, put one in the L. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but wait a minute.
You feel me?
I thought you said you got to go to church in the morning.
Bro, that's it, man.
You know what I'm saying? How many hours before church?
What you say?
About it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you said unraveling, man. That's where it happens, bro. Because sometimes you have your life sold up, and I'm saying like routine wise, like, hey man, I'm getting to work on time. I'm doing this every day. We on a tight budget. Cause you know what I'm saying. I've been working hard. I've been doing this. I can unravel just a little bit. It's just one. It's one strand. But it's one piece of fabric.
It's crazy though, because this sounds too real, because it is real by how we stating it, right? By how we calling this. But let's call it how it plays out. We don't say these words. We say, you know what I'm saying? I might as well let my hair down for a little. You know what I'm saying? Let the hair down. What's crazy is let's think about this for a second. When when your hair is up, it's restricted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's bound. So it's like, you think about it, it's the closest thing to being, you sealed in a sense.
Right.
The moment you become loose, loosen up a bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can let your hair down. Let your hair blow in the wind. You know what I'm saying? All that, it does signify movement, but what type of movement? Is that movement an improvement?
I think it's, because I'm thinking literally as you explained it, I'm thinking of the actual analogy. I'm looking at your hair right now. It's tightly bound. You know what I'm saying? But it looks nice and neat. And I'm pretty sure that style right there is going to last you a lot longer. Versus, like you said, I'm letting it all down. It's blowing in the wind. It's kind of wild. It starts getting wild. You can't control how much wind is going through it at that point.
You don't care to control it. Now you look like a wild man. But guess what? But for the people that wear it, they like it like that because that's how they feel.
Bro.
It suits how they feel.
That's very true, man. That's very true, man. I think, what was the statement? You said,
is that particular movement improvement?
Is that particular movement improvement, man? That's a great question. Super great question, man. That might be the title, man. Is that movement is that particular movement improvement, man? And I think that's something that we have to always question. Like I said, we have to ask ourselves, what's assisting me in life, and what have I become dependent on? And those are the questions you have to ask periodically. We have to have those periodically checks. Let me ask you, periodically checks, right? When you get to that point, is there a way to monitor that? Like I said, I say periodically ask yourself questions. Sometimes life periodically, checks you and asks you those questions.
Yeah.
Because you done got unwound, you don't even realize it. Is there a self-check that you're able to do that? A lot easier? Is there a strategy to it?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to say this. For me, when I realize that I'm like, that I'm kind of out of control, all I gotta do is what tells me I'm kind of out of control is the clock. I know you like, what you
Well, yeah, I was like, what's up?
Yeah, simply the clock. What I mean is this here: if you can go through a day and you really you can't really track your movements through a day, but then you've wasted so much time, and that time becomes unaccounted for, then that means, first of all, you can lie to yourself and say, what? I was sleepwalking. Because that's all you was doing, really.
Pretty much.
But you consciously sleepwalking. That's a problem.
Man. Bro, that's so well said, man. That's so well said, because I'm thinking about budgets. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about, like you said, tracking your time, having actual, because idle times at the devil workshop. It really is, man. Because you can't account for what you did. It's almost like swiping that credit card. For me, I swipe it so much, I ain't keeping a tally.
You're right. And then, but the one thing that's still keeping tally is the numbers that's in that account. Then you sit up there looking, man, how much I done got drained down like this? Okay, you start thinking, well, what's the last one?
Right. You like, bro, what? Hold on. Now it's time to stop.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's real now.
Yeah, it's like real.
You know
what I'm saying? Dude, that's so true, man.
That's like, man, I'm telling you, man, that, and it's no different than a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, in a sense, every credit card comes with the what is it called? Oh man, it comes with a cap.
You're right.
It does come with a cap, and then it's like, but you notice like the larger the dollar amount is, people feel more comfortable. Oh, cool. I ain't gonna never reach that point.
Right.
And boy, the first swipe, the pleasure you get from the first swipe. And see, it always start off real small. The first swipe might be small. You're like, I ain't, because you still, in a sense, it's like you are very much aware of the cap. You still, when you first go into, you're aware of the cap, right? Most people that are thinkers, I ain't trying to, You like, well, technically, I do need to build my credit. So, I guess, the first thing you think, what's something that's small enough that I can swipe this card on, but I need it to be like consistent, so to speak. So some people might take it and say, all right, maybe gas.
That's what I was thinking.
Or other people, whatever, and I check this out. Let's just say that they got a guilty pleasure.
Right.
That's going to be the thing that they're going to use it on. Some people, ice cream. The ice cream eaters. Some people, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm telling on myself. I used to use it at one point in time. I used to use it for donuts, bro.
Donuts.
But then, now if you're not careful, the unraveling becomes the fact that now the money is on demand, so to speak, and it's close by. Now all of a sudden, when before, if it was coming out of your pocket,
right,
you wasn't going to get donuts every week or every 2 weeks maybe. It was, you know what I'm saying, every now and then maybe.
Right.
Now it's going from, that thing has ballooned from, you know what I'm saying, every 2 weeks to a week to now all of a sudden, man, I feel like it 2 times this week.
You feel multiple times a week.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it,
man.
And then you sit there thinking, hey, I can swipe, why not swipe? I mean, it's not a lot.
Right.
But if you think about it, it adds up. Like smokers going out to buy cigarettes. See, the excuse for a smoker is the fact that, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no chain smoker.
Right.
That's the first thing, you know what I'm saying? But then if they had the means to get to it as often as they chose to, then would that movement be an improvement?
That's what you just said. Something big. You said if I had an opportunity to get to it as often as I would like to, right? That's where the routine comes in. That's where the self check comes in. The tightly wound hair, higher up in the bun. That's where it comes from. Because if you had the opportunity, we tell ourselves that we would have restraint. 9 times out of 10, man. If you 9 times out of 10, man. If you don't build a routine within yourself, you'll be hitting that thing, whatever it is, multiple times, 5 times. You would skip one workout, you give yourself one leeway in the workout, or food, money, donuts, whatever it is, man. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna max it out, man. And we just wired like that. That's why we need sometimes those routines. That's why having those excuses, I think, come so natural. You know what I'm saying? It's natural to a certain extent. But I'm so glad you was on the same page with that, man, because I was thinking about that this week, man. I'm like, wow, how did I go from saying, how did it go from me saying I didn't have time to work out during my lunch break to I ain't worked out in 5-6 days now? You know what I mean? Because I gave myself that leeway, and then you give yourself an inch, you're going to take a mile. 1,000%. At least with me, I know for sure. So I always got to keep myself accounted for. Like you said, account for your time, man. If you're not account for your time in some way, form, or fashion, whether it's a planner, I use planners sometimes, some type of log. And that's why I said with the history of technology, it could be used for your improvement or your detriment, because all these apps out here that track your time, track your sleep, track your steps, track your food, whatever it is, it's an opportunity out here to use it to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we just have to be mindful of it, man. I knew I wasn't the only one, so I'm glad you knew most definitely what was going on. But yeah, what's on your mind, man?
Nah, I was sitting up there, man. I was just like thinking, right? And like I can't remember the artist now, man. But I want to say it was J. Cole. It was a lyric, man, that it struck me, man. He was talking about it's pretty much I'm paraphrasing here. Like, oftentimes, like, a lot of people, man, that have, right, they become a have not because now they oversupplying. They become an oversupplier. And let's just say that person could even be living good. That person living good, hence they bringing in the fish, right? But instead of teaching those around them how to fish, to collect their own fish, now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they going into their surplus, and then all of a sudden it's like fish out.
100%.
And so, you know,
that's a crazy concept.
Yeah.
That's a crazy
concept. Like you
that's
really
so real, bro.
Yeah, you really think about it. But then it's crazy because certain people get mad at you for taking the time to try to teach them how to fish.
Right.
Because they just want it. Instant gratification. Mm-hmm. They want it now. Like, bro, nah, hold on. But you got it. Why you can't just give it to me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's up with that?
But now, somebody wise, they might go and buy them a startup kit.
Right.
That means the tools necessary to supply your own is here.
Mm-hmm.
Now do with this as you choose, but I'm going to teach you how to do what I did.
Right.
But people get mad at that.
Which is crazy.
Bro, you tripping. Like, bruh.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you, like, give me some of yours.
You was just right here with some, you know what I'm saying? They hit you with that, all that stuff, man. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. But see, it's like the mentality has to change, bro. Like, that's legit. That's an issue.
It really is, though, man. You right about the mentality shift.
Yeah.
I think for sure with the more you acknowledge the ability to monitor, like, for instance, like, I'm just going to say it in layman terms, man. For me with money, right? That's most times what people notice the biggest impact. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it begins, right? Once you track there, because it's always easier to start. It's always easy to build it. You know what I'm saying? First, after a couple of days, you good. You know what I mean? But that first initial, you feel like you're missing out when you begin it, which is crazy. You feel like you're missing out when you begin to track it first. The more you do it, to realize the benefit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the initial riff is, man. That's where the initial pushback becomes. And we get to a point to where it's like, man, I ain't finna be doing all that, man. I ain't got time for all that.
Just because you get it don't mean it has to be spent.
Right.
Or just because you have it doesn't mean it need to be spent. You know, it's interesting. You know, something just hit me, right? And I believe truly to acknowledge is the first step to knowledge. To acknowledge,
that's a bar, dude,
is the first step to knowledge. Because to acknowledge that I have a problem,
right?
I legit got a problem with gaining things quickly and spending it quickly.
Bro.
Back in the day, you know what I'm saying, my old man would say, bro, Joker pocket's on fire, man. You got to get rid of the money. You know what I'm saying? They can't rest in this pocket. The pocket's hot.
Pocket's hot. Pocket's hot.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
really
for real.
like that,
Brother
man.
got to get rid of it.
Well, that's funny, man.
About to burn up.
Let me ask you this. Oh, no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
Go ahead.
Part of the purpose of getting what you want is who you become in the process of getting it. Part of the purpose of getting what you want is who you become in the process of getting it. So we get certain things, right? I think this is where our wisdom come from. We don't know. I'm not claiming to know it all. I know for sure E is not claiming to know it all. But in the process of getting some of the things I've gotten, the person I became and how I got it taught me different ways of getting it, right? You know what I'm saying? So I've learned different processes of like, okay, I need to take the longer way of getting this for me to appreciate why I need to keep it or how to keep it. You know what I'm saying? So I think both ways of getting it, whether it's quick or whether it's a little bit slower, forms you in the person that you need to be. Does that make sense?
No, that
you get
does.
what I'm trying to say?
That definitely does. But I'm gonna say something on this too. Sometimes the mistake of trying to take the fast route to get it,
right,
and what you go through trying to take that fast route, that educates you
exactly,
and lets you slow down.
Exactly.
Because you understand, if I want to gain something that's worth, that's going to become, worth longevity, then I might need to slow this down. Because you know what? You can speed yourself into the grave.
Bruh. Fast track to death, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
And that could be not even just physical death. I'm talking about financial death, relationship death, socially death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so true, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's so true.
You're always mashing on the gas.
Oh, dude, man. That's so
guess
crazy.
What? You always mashing on the gas, and guess what? That's why you lose it fast. Because then you didn't put it into the tank, and then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, didn't I just put gas in the tank, man? Monday is only Wednesday.
That's it, bro.
Guess what? You got gas on your chest. All you do is drive. Drive fast at that. And then you keep on and you ain't going to see it because you're going to be jailed.
Bruh, I'm telling you, man. We approaching 30 minutes, man. I want to be cautious of your time.
Yeah, I want to before we run out of time, I want to I think this is something, man. My shouts out to my 10th grade teacher, man. Sharonda Williams, if she ever hear this. Shout you out.
Yeah, shout out to Sharonda Williams.
Yeah. At one time, boy, I could not stand that woman. I ain't lying to you. But that's because she used to challenge me.
Right. She put that pressure on. Good
pressure. Yes,
good
she
pressure.
did.
Yeah, man.
And she stood in her pressure.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you need, man.
Yes, sir. Those are the ones you tend to always remember.
Right.
Too.
Right.
All right. So she she gave us this assignment, right? It was man, this was one of the dopest assignments I ever got, man. It's like it was so dope that it's crazy because now here it is, man. I'm in my 30s in life now. And this we talking about when I was in my teens, like mid-teens.
Right.
This woman gave us a assignment, and I still remember one of the questions off the muscle. I remember one of the questions, and it says, I'm gonna ask it to you right now. It says, which is easier to forgive? The street or the sidewalk?
Hey man, she was on. Hey man, you said Sharonda Williams. Man, dude, that's a dope one. That's a dope one, man. What was the? Explain it to me.
Okay, so you answering the question in your mind.
What is more?
Is no right or wrong answer. It's just now it forces you to step outside of the box of your thinking,
right?
And just.
But I'm gonna answer it my way.
That's it. That's all you can do. That's all I'm asking.
I think for me, the sidewalk, man, because it allows you to observe a little bit more.
So, all right, pay attention to the question again. Which is easier to forgive, the street or the sidewalk?
It's easy to forgive, the street or the sidewalk.
Now, what was your answer?
I said the sidewalk because I'm able to observe a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it's more forgiving that way. It's a lot slower pace.
Okay.
And then things like that. And hopefully, I don't know. I don't even know if I answered it right or wrong.
Again, bro, that's your answer, right?
All right, yeah.
I still remember my answer, man.
Well, yeah. What was
wasn't
yours?
that.
All right. What was yours?
Nah, like, and this is crazy. I used to think like this, you know, like being about 15 years old, man, 15 to 16. But I remember thinking, and it's crazy because now this allows me, even now at my current age, to go back and now to counter think the young version of
Right.
me.
Your type of thinking.
And to be honest with you, I don't blame the young. I still think this. So I feel like the street is easier to forgive. Now listen to me and listen to me well. This is all right. So Your Honor, allow me. I feel like this here. We all know what transpires in the street.
Right.
We know accidents transpires in the streets. We expect that. We know how dangerous the street is. So automatically it's like signing the contract. You already know what you in for. You know that. But anytime a car hydroplanes or goes over onto the sidewalk, it's hard to forgive that because in our mind, that's not supposed to happen.
That's true.
When you see stuff like that, man, that make you like, yo, they did what?
Right. You kind of are more accepting of an accident on the highway.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true.
Rather than the sidewalk.
Man, dude. Dang, man. You thinking like that at that age, bro?
I ain't lying, boy. Like,
oh, man.
But it's like, bro, like I appreciate questions like that, man, because in this life, man, and I think we starting to lose some of this because everybody on this. But if we actually was forced to think for a second, man, even if it was a question in which it was a right or wrong answer, and then we find out we had the wrong answer, now it allows us to reprogram our thoughts, so to speak, or now, even if you have, even if you one of those strong believers or strong thinkers in which, nah, I'm gonna sit up there, I'm gonna debate that. That's good. That's good in the sense because now what you're doing is you're utilizing your brain. You know what I can't stand, man, with my children, bro? I can't stand I ask questions. I don't know.
You didn't even try.
Exactly. So I might come back and I might say, well, what you don't know? I'm just being honest with you, man, because
I like that, bro. That's
what I do. Because you gonna think about something,
right?
I don't know. I say it so casually, too.
Right.
I don't know.
Why you ask me that?
Yeah. Hey, then it's I don't know.
Bruh, that's hilarious, man. That's funny, man. That's a good. I like that, man. I think.
Oh, don't worry about it. I got a bunch of them. I went and found that mug.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I found where she got it from. So we gonna start doing that.
Nah, man. I would like that, man. That'll be dope. Yeah, that'll be dope, man.
I like that. They call it Synetics.
That's a dope name too, man. Sir. That's a dope name. Yeah. I like that, E, man. So, man, yo, I appreciate you, man. Right. Always, man. Always a dope conversation, a dope talk, and it's almost like a reset for my week. You know what I mean? So I hope it's like that with you guys too, man. Like, we'd love to hear from you guys, man. Comments, concerns, leave it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Questions you want to hear on the podcast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if you have a question that you think would be dope, segment, whatever the case may be, we'd love to hear it, man. We open the feedback. So keep sharing, keep liking, keep growing the podcast, keep growing with us, mentally, physically, spiritually. And this has been a Real Talk podcast, man. Peace.
Real talk.
Real talk. We appreciate you giving us a listen. If you like this episode and would like to engage with us or support, reach out through our social media platforms, linked in the description, and tune in every Thursday to check out new episodes. See you next week.